Hey guys, how's it going? So out of the couple pistols that I own, my Sig P320 is the one I shoot the most poorly with. And I think a lot of that has to do with the grip itself. It just doesn't feel all that natural to me. I'm not a huge fan of how wide it is and how, let's say, oval the cross section is. When I first purchased the P320, back in 2014-ish. This model was called the Carry, which I think has since been renamed the Compact. And just as Sig designed the system, I said, hey, well, they make a size small grip module, so let me go ahead and buy one of those and see if I like it more than medium. So I actually ended up preferring the size small grip frame, but it still wasn't that great for me. And I had actually decided to double down and buy the subcompact small frame as well. So now it's 2020 and Sig has come out with these X-Compact grip modules in size small, medium, large. And just looking at the differences between these two, you can obviously tell that the grips look fairly significantly different. So I decided to pick up a size small and medium X-Compact grip to see if that would improve how it fits with me and if I perform any better with it. Surprisingly, the X-Compact grips are actually pretty different from the original P320 grip. So let's take a closer look and I'll show you what those differences are. So here we have the P320 grip on the left and the X-Compact grip on the right. Both of these are grip module frame size smalls, and just look at the difference in the grips themselves to start. You can see that the palm swell here on the P320 grip is a lot more pronounced than the one over here on the X-Compact. The X-Compact one is much straighter in profile. Additionally, you can see kind of up here at the top that the grip kind of necks down in size, so it becomes thinner up there versus the X-Compact grip. It maintains the same width all the way up to about here where it meets the main part of the frame where the slide connects to. You can also see that where the web of your thumb goes, you can get a little bit higher grip on the X-Compact grip versus the P320 one, because this is a larger radius curve. So the apex is down here versus the X-Compact. You can see the apex is a little bit higher up. Both of these grip frames have the undercut by the trigger guard, but the X-Compact cuts inward a little bit sharper there to give you a little bit better grip. Another thing I thought was a little bit interesting is the color differences between the older frames and the newer ones. So both my subcompact, my medium, and this small P320 grip seem like they're a little more olive in color compared to the newer X-Compact grips I got, which have more brown in them. Also, if we zoom in on the grips a little bit more, we can see that the texturing along the sides is different. The features on the P320 grip are a little bit finer in nature versus the slightly larger ones on the X-Compact. And I feel that the X-Compact grip, even though it doesn't look all that different, it really feels like it gripped your hand a lot better because of that texture. If we look at the front to back width of the grips, they also differ. On the P321 at the top, from where the webbing of your hand sits to the front part of that grip was 1.838 inches. Where the undercut is to the back was 1.923, and at the bottom was 2.073 inches. On the X-Compact grip, the area where the webbing is to the inside of the trigger guard was 1.895 inches. Where that undercut of the trigger guard is to the rear was 1.908, and at the bottom was 1.95. So once again, we see the X-Compact grip has a more consistent measurement throughout the whole grip. So here we have a rear view at the two grips, and deceptively, the P320 grip on the left looks slimmer all the way around, and that's really just because of that oval cross section that this grip has. In actuality, I took my calipers out and measured things, and at the bottom of the P320 grip, it was about 1.35 inches wide. In the middle of it was about 1.27, and at the top was about 1.08. On the X-Compact grip, it was about 1.24 inches the entire way up and down. So very consistent width, on the X-Compact, and the width kind of flares out a little bit as you go from top to bottom on the P320. If we take a look at the bottom, you can really see how the P320's grip really makes more of a like oval shape in its cross section, while the X-Compact grip is more squared off comparatively. Also, if you look at the magwell entry point, the X-Compact has flared edges to kind of help you guide that mag in, versus the like really sharp just cutoffs of the P320. I also thought it was a little bit interesting how there's only really two main rear contact points or slide points for the magazine on the P320 grip versus the 4 on the X-Compact grips. It didn't really feel any different sliding in a mag to me, so I'm not really sure why Sig made that change. And you can see that even though these are both size small frames, the P321 does extend back a little bit further because of that more exaggerated palm swell that I showed earlier. And actually, if I measure around just the base here of each of the grips, the circumference of them is different. So it was about 5 3/4 on the P320 grip, and it was about 5 3/8 inches on the X-Compact. Another difference you'll notice is the bottom of the grip where the mag goes in. You can see that the P320 grip on the left has these cutouts for the older style floor plates that have these little wings that protrude up, and the X-Compact grip does not. So that means if you have older floor plates like this one, and they're kind of round and they say Sig Sauer versus having just the new Sig logo, these magazines won't insert into the X-Compact grip. So you have two options: either you buy new magazines or floor plates that are compatible with the X-Compact, or what you can also do is you can also take a Dremel and shave down or cut off these wings over here so that this mag can go in and not interfere with the wing and the bottom of the magwell. So here is one of those old style mags with the Sig Sauer logo on the bottom. You can see I've cut off those little wings on the side of the floor plate, and you can see that it goes into the X-Compact grip no problem now. So one of the other things I found kind of weird going from the P320 grip to the X-Compact grip was how Sig decided to reduce the rails from 4 to 3, and because of that I can't mount my TLR1 with the P320 block on it on the X-Compact grip. However, I can mount an Olight PL Mini. That said, if you use the TLR1 mounting block that says TSW99, that will let you mount the TLR1 to the X-Compact grip, but there's a catch. It places the switch so close to the trigger guard that when you activate the light in momentary mode, it just stays on because it's held on by friction and the lever can't return back to its off state. So if you do want to make this work, you'll have to end up shaving down the trigger guard a little bit. So now let's take a look at the X-Compact medium grip, which I have on the left, versus the X-Compact small grip on the right. Really, all the difference comes down to the grips themselves. And what's really interesting is that the front to back length for the medium and the small grip are for the most part the same. So for 2/3 of the grip, the front to back lengths are the same, and it's really only this lower palm swell area that's more exaggerated on the medium that we start to get a front to back length difference. So this dimension over here on the small grip is about 1.95 inches, and on the medium size grip, that same dimension front to back is a little bit over 2 inches, about 2.05. Taking a bottom look at the grips with once again the medium grip on the left and the small grip on the right, they look the same width, and that's because they are. They're still both roughly 1.25 inches from bottom to top, and really all you can tell about the size difference is that little bit of extra palm swell at the bottom of the medium grip on the left. So now that we've taken a look at the various grips themselves, let's go ahead and transfer the parts from my P320 to one of the X-Carry grips. So to do that, we'll start by locking the slide to the rear, and then we can go ahead and take this slide release or takedown lever and just release that all the way to the bottom position. Then we can go ahead and take this slide and slide it off. Next, we'll go remove this lever from the gun itself, so we can go ahead and pull it out of this side. And then we'll take our trigger and we'll push up on it to pop the fire control unit out. Now we'll take our new grip frame and take the fire control unit and drop it in with the kind of back going down like this first. And then we'll have to push the trigger in so that we can get it to drop inside there. And then we can go ahead and pull this trigger back to get it fully seated. Now we can take the takedown lever and pop that in there. And you may have to rotate it a little bit depending on the orientation it's in. So we want that to make a firm snap, and we need to make sure it's in the down position so that we can take the slide and slide that on. We're going to slide that all the way back until we line up the grooves and can release the takedown lever. So there it is. Here is the X-Compact grip frame retrofitted to my P320. So now let's get this out to the range and see how it feels. Hey guys, so I am at the range right now, and I really want to see which of these three grips works the best for me. So, you know, as I mentioned before, here's my original P320 compact frame, and I'm going to start with this, fire a couple magazines with this, see what my hit ratio is, and then I'm going to try each of these other X-Compact grips, the medium and the small. And well, whichever one I get the best hits with today, that's what I'll stick with.
You want to shoot that thing? Or... most likely. It's sweet. I never thought I would. Where were you shooting? Center mass, or were you shooting? Yeah, see that target going up the hill? Not the one way at the top, but the one right below. I hit that one. Oh, to the left? Yeah, yeah.
So there you have it, folks. To objectively see which of these grips I shot better with, I loaded 3 mags with 10 rounds each, and then just shot up and down a dueling tree about 12 yards away and counted my hits. And when that was all said and done, I definitely shot better with these X-Compact grips versus my previous preference, which was the P320 Compact small grip. In fact, the hit ratios, I hit 20% more targets with the X-Compact medium grip and 30% more targets with this X-Compact small grip. So at the end of the day, it looks like I will be keeping this X-Compact small grip. Not only, you know, did it feel better to me, but I also objectively performed better with it. And when I think about why that is and how these grips are shaped, I think really what it comes down to is just this palm swell down here. And you know, I showed you earlier how the medium has a more enlarged palm swell. And what I found for me personally is that just rotated my wrist down a little bit more. So it made me like kind of pull the gun down as I was going through my trigger pull. So overall, looking forward to using this more, and I'll probably end up shaving down the trigger guard a little bit so that the X-Compact grip module is compatible with my TLR one. Thanks.